Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Elias here with Weekly Wrestling Heat. We are back for another episode, Tuesday special episode. We're here to cover AEW for the last 2 weeks because we kind of messed up a little bit, and then we're covering WrestleMania Backlash, which was kind of interesting. Um, Out of all of it, was one match that was just bad. The rest of them actually pretty much delivered.
I don't even think the bad
Anyways,
match. I don't even think the bad match was bad. I just think it had bad stuff around it.
I agree. Let's get into it. Let's talk Backlash first, and then we'll talk AEW.
Cool. Before we go into
Um,
backlash, there were a couple of injuries which were reported. Miz is supposed to be out 6 to 8 months. They're saying,
yeah.
and Braun is probably going to take a couple of weeks to a month off with uh, some bruised to broken ribs. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do a quick backlash review, and then we'll talk about the AEW stuff. Backlash opened with the women's triple threat. I thought this was a good match. Um, I something's missing with Rhea Ripley in this title run, in my opinion, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it's all the rewriting they do for her or what it is, but I feel like she's just not in her zone. You know?
Um, I agree. I feel like there is it's something that's just not there, and it's
There's
not
a
her fault.
disconnect
She's doing,
somewhere. Yeah.
yeah. There's a disconnect um that is there, and it's just one of those things that the match itself was great. Don't get me wrong. The match itself was great. The match itself had action. Everybody showed out. They I hate that they are making Asuka take the pin lately.
They made up for
It
it
just
yesterday,
yeah. Yeah,
but
they
yeah,
did. I really enjoyed the match between her and Charlotte yesterday.
but if this is going to lead to
But
Asuka getting another title shot and another pinfall, then yeah, I agree with you.
I just don't know where it's headed. I don't want to see Charlotte continue to be in the main event program. I would rather her go off and do some other thing, start off some side feud with somebody, than to continue to deal with um, continue to deal with being in the main event picture. She's doing a great job though. Don't get me wrong. She's doing a great job at actually being the heel that she is. So I'm not
I
complaining about that.
Yeah, I want to see Rhea take on different people in the Raw roster. Like, I feel like Rhea and Naomi could have a good couple months of matches. The only thing with Raw is like they repeat ladder rank repeat every match, you know. So if you're gonna do this with Asuka where she gets pinned again, you have to immediately go to a new challenger unless you're gonna do another triple threat. We haven't had a triple threat Hell in a Cell in a minute, so I think that's where they could go with the women.
Yeah, but it still goes back to the point that everybody keeps saying about Raw. Everything is on repeat. Everything we're seeing the same old matches, the same feuds. You have a roster of over 30 people in that on that brand. Use them. You have talents
Yeah,
like Angel Garza, Drew Gulak. You have these talent, Kofi. You
Ricochet
have
balled out the last couple of
Ricochet.
days. Yeah,
If you watch main event, him and Ali have been killing it. Like spotlight those people, and that. Like I get it. Yesterday's Raw was different from the rest, but it still lacks that thing. That still lacks that action. We see more promos, more stuff, more backstage segments than wrestling.
I
That's my
think
only
it
gripe.
might be. I think it might be what we talked about last week. I think they don't want to give away anything too good because they are touring starting in mid July. So I think maybe
Yeah.
they're just like, let's hold off on this stuff. Um, Damian Priest said he's moving on from the Miz and Morrison. I would love to see him in Sheamus, but the thing is, I don't want him to win a title without a crowd there. So if you can hold off on that Sheamus thing, like let Damian Priest run through T-Bar and Mace for a month until the crowds are back, I think Sheamus and Damian Priest could be good. Um, I think even if we talk about different matches, open up Raw with a 15-minute match between Humberto and Mansoor, because Mansoor's pissed that Humberto ruined his winning streak or his debut. If you don't want to touch on the winning streak, I I think just throw different things out there. Something's gonna stick to the wall.
Yeah, and that's all about. That's what it is. You just gotta bring something new to the table. Anyways, back to the match. Um, I think that the ending of it was good. Um, that's about it.
When Charlotte hit that natural selection on both of them, I was like, God, please don't do this right now, because I
I
really
agree.
thought Charlotte was going to take it, and I was like, oh my God, they're going to do the same thing Roman did, and thankfully they didn't.
Yeah. So,
Do you want
all
to
right.
start on the second match? And mute myself really quick.
Next match was Dominic and Rey Mysterio versus the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. I enjoyed the match itself because it basically showed the resiliency of Rey Mysterio. I wish they would have just let Dominic come out when the match started and him just fight through it instead. I did like the fact that they put him in the back and he didn't come out to mid match, and it showed Ray's like a parent side coming out being like, I don't want my child to get injured anymore, so I'm not gonna let him. But then him tagging in and then him um, going in, it made the match flow a little bit faster. Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler looked great. I will say that I enjoyed their presentation. Enjoyed how they were making fun of Ray, beating him up. Just it it, it played to that heel role perfectly, in my opinion. Um, once the tag was made, I enjoyed how some of how the hot tag got killed at times because you saw Dominic coming in with a hot tag and then the momentum just stopped. Um, I I laughed a little bit at the frog at the ending because the frog splash, like I'm used to Eddie's frog splash, I'm used to RVD's frog splash. Shit, even Montez has a better frog splash than Dominic,
I will
and it
say
just felt like
Dominic's frog splash was very clean. It was very
yeah.
average. It was a Christian Cage frog splash. It was very clean. It did what it had to do, but I don't buy it as a finisher.
But the funny part about it was, you remember when was Hornswoggle did the top tackle splash, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know how Hornswoggle just flopped onto the opponent.
Yes,
Like it felt like Dominic just flopped onto Bobby Roode. The ending was kind of like he
it
just
did, but
fell.
you can do the whole thing with the whole Dolph and Robert Roode were in the match for so long that it knocked the air out of
Yeah,
Roode.
no, I bought it. I bought it and enjoyed it. It's just it was funny to me because I felt like it was just like a little tadpole splash instead of a
I
frog splash.
I did I did like, and this was bad on the cameraman's part, but I think it made the moment feel that much better. You could see Robert Roode saying "Good job, kid" at the end during the pinfall, and
Yeah, I
we
saw that.
talk. If we're gonna hate on one company for the camera work, we gotta hate on another. But you know, I think it made the moment that much bigger, honestly.
Well, I think and I think it's good to put Dominic in these situations because it helps him build him as a performer because he didn't go to the performance center. He went straight to the main roster.
Hmm.
So
And
I
you're
think
in there
him
with how many
growing,
years of experience too, right?
yeah. So he's growing, and you could tell he's learning as he goes. So it's like he's getting better and better and better. He's surprising me. So I like it. I hope to see them hold the titles a little long. I enjoy seeing that this is the first time a father son duo have won a title, tag team title in WWE. So that was even make the moment even more special.
Do
Any
you
thoughts?
think
Any
they're?
extra thoughts?
I think it's going to set up to them losing it to the Usos, but I feel like if you're holding off until the crowd for the big moment, which is probably going to be Big E or a returning Brock or whatever you're going to do, I feel like you have them lose to the Usos next pay per view. Let's say if because we don't know what's going on with the Usos storyline. I feel like Rey Mysterio and Roman can steal a pay per view too. You know, like if you can do Rey Mysterio and Roman at a Hell in a or sorry at a Money in the Bank because the Money in the Bank match is the focus that night.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be, and it goes back. We'll talk about this once we get into the main event. But I think that that itself is going to be interesting to see. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room: the Damian Priest versus the Miz, the lumberjack match.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So beforehand, Morrison's like, "Hey Miz, I'm gonna go talk to the lumberjacks." Goes to the locker room. It's a bunch of zombies. Leaves the door open, runs away. Miz doesn't believe him, and the zombies followed him out. And I don't even know. Like, I thought the match was good. I thought Priest had a cool spot where he did the turn kick off the steps
Yeah,
onto the zombie. I thought Miz trying to high five Damian Priest when they knocked out all the zombies was cool too. Um, I other than that, like what Justin LeBar put it best. You had him with Bad Bunny. You had him do the promo for a big time Batista movie, and he did everything he had to do. You know, he went to the back and Vince McMahon gave him a hug and said, "Attaboy." And that's all you can do, right?
yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, okay, I get it. You're doing and I crapped on it a lot during the show, but then I sat back and thought about it. I was like, okay, these guys did work with what they had. Yes, the gimmick match was the gimmick. The lumberjacks having the zombies was not the right call by creative, but it took away from the actual match a little bit because hey, what's going on, Stefan? It took away from the match a little bit because you sitting there like they're yes, it's a comedic, a little bit comedic. It's a little bit like oh crap, they're real quote unquote real zombies there. Um, But when I sat back and thought of it, it's like this could have been done in a backstage segment. This could have been done in an R2 24/7 bit, and you could have put the other people out there. You could put real wrestlers out there and actually done what they did Monday. Because Monday's lumberjack match was actually pretty good.
You could have legit just had Morrison close the door, and when he closes the door, the sign turns into saying "Army of the Dead" or whatever the Batista movie's called, and it would have been
Yeah,
done. But yeah, I like it. Thoughts and prayers to Miz. Hope he recovers. This is the first major injury he's had. So
and he's one of the workhorses of WWE. So for him
do
to get injured sucked.
do you know this injury? And bear with me here. I think it could be a blessing in disguise if they start filming that second Mortal Kombat movie because everyone wants Miz to be Johnny Cage.
It could
I'm
be.
on the
It could.
I'm on the Morrison needs to be Johnny Cage train, but we'll see what happens. I
Stefan, um, so the Miz got injured had an ACL. According to reports, the Miz got injured and had an ACL injury. So they're doing testing this week to make sure what it is, to make sure that if it's a real ACL tear or if it's something minor,
a sprain, yeah.
he's out or he's going to be out for at least 4 to 8 months. Or 6 to 8 months, either or, depending on the severity of the injury. He could be out less time, but we'll see as reports go on. I want to talk about this match because this is actually one of my favorite matches: the Bianca Belair versus Bayley
So
of the night.
good. I agree. So good, really good.
This came on after this match. I kind of crapped on Brian Alvarez on Twitter about this one because he's like, how do people expect to catch on to the match or focus on the pay per view after that debacle they call it the lumberjack match? And I was like, then you're not a real wrestling fan. Like, you should be able to look at the story being told and enjoy the match. And I did. The match itself was great. Bianca looks great. Bailey was monster heel. All the talking she was doing, all the mess she was talking, fit perfectly, and they went toe to toe. The ending was kind of meh, in my opinion, because of the way that the she was supposed to do the stuff with the hair, and that didn't go through as properly. But other than that, I can't crap on it. It was one of the best both women matches.
I'm gonna defend the botch because it shows that you could easily turn this around where Bailey's like, yeah, she used the hair for a second, that still would have resulted in 2 count, and Bianca could easily be like, I decided I didn't need the hair because I could beat you regardless. You could easily turn it.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
So regardless of that botch, I thought it was a great showing by both. Now, where does this go? Does this continue? Will we see Bianca Belair versus Bailey in Hell in a Cell?
I think both Hell in a Cell matches. I think there's gonna be 2 Hell in a Cell matches. I think they're both gonna be women's triple threats.
Who do you add?
Sasha Bailey, Bianca, and then the Raw repeat. That's what I think it's.
We haven't seen Sasha since WrestleMania.
Yeah, we did.
Or since that last SmackDown.
Yeah, but you could easily bring her back, and just Bianca's, doing an interview. Sasha comes backstab her. I've never gotten a rematch. Bailey, I got screwed out of my match because of the hair. So
yeah,
you could easily build it up. I think that's the way they're gonna go. I think both of those women's matches would deliver in a cell. I think the Raw match needs something different at this point.
Yeah.
So that's the way I would go with it. Because I don't think any men, Bobby and Drew aside, I don't think any men's match is big enough for the cell. Because I think you need to milk the Usos storyline longer than 5 weeks.
We're definitely going to see Roman or Jay versus Jimmy.
In a cell, you think?
No, it's just a one-on-one match.
Okay.
Or I think it's going to build to that ultimate match. I think we're going to get what we want, what they want, which is the brother versus brother. And then it's going to lead to a match between Roman and Jimmy. And then
Seth Rollins and Cesaro could be in a cell. I lied. I forgot about that.
Or it could. Well, Cesaro's selling an injury.
Yeah, but you got 5 weeks, right? You come back 2 weeks before the pay-per-view, sit out 3 weeks, back 2 weeks before the pay-per-view, lay a major beatdown on Seth Rollins, and be like, hey, we're doing this in a cell. We're ending this.
So, all right, let's hop into the next match, which I thought was one of the the 2 main events, co-main events were...
The last 3 matches were all great.
Yeah. So, the triple threat Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. God, that I don't usually like these kind of matches because specifically with these 3 guys, but these guys over delivered in my opinion.
Dude, the minute Braun jumped off the apron, I was like, oh shit, they're gonna go all out for this. So Braun jumped off the apron. You have Bobby go through the LED board. You got some brawling on the stage.
Drew gets put through the table.
Yeah, it looks like Drew's about to win the match. Bobby comes out just like everyone predicted, wins the match. Yeah, dude, this was great storytelling, especially between 3 men who, aside from Drew, Braun and Bobby aren't really known for their storytelling. So I thought this was very good for that.
and I like the way that they Drew and Bobby started working together, and you could tell Drew's like doubtfulness to help Bobby Lashley out, but he knew if they didn't take out Braun Strowman that they weren't going to get anywhere. So I like the storytelling on that part. I like the storytelling on how Drew took out Bobby and then just like literally came after him, and Strowman just went at it. Um, I
Definitely.
I think the ending was perfect. It played up to Bobby's heel moment and MVP knowing how to make the correct calls. So I enjoyed this one. I think it's one of the best matches of the night, if not the best match of the night, because it kind of over delivered better than Cesaro versus Roman.
One thing I really liked about the last couple of matches Bobby had is MVP's not getting involved physically. So
Yeah,
I'm really liking that. It's building Bobby more as a legitimate champion. So I'm really liking that. And then we got the main event, which this was 50-50 in the public's eyes. 50% hated it, 50% loved it. I was in the minority where I actually liked it because, yeah, it was Roman beating down Cesaro for most of the match, but I thought it crescendoed when Cesaro would keep having those comeback moments. Then nothing would come of it because Roman would shut it down with Superman punch or whatever. And then I thought the end was awesome when Cesaro woke up and was like, "What? What just happened?" I thought it was good. I think
I
it's my
honestly
third
thought.
favorite match of the night, but that's because of the story they were telling.
Well, I agree. And I liked it because of the fact that they played to Cesaro's strengths was not giving up. Like they played to Roman's heel, how they caught Roman talking mess through the whole match. I think that made the match even better. I thought that was one of the points where it just literally told the story while he was in the ring, and he continued to talk mess, continued to do him, and
Mm-hmm.
it beat to him. My favorite part of the match was Heyman's reactions. Like
That
there was,
you know what else a lot of people slept on? Major props to the commentary team. They would always lay out whenever Roman started talking crap.
yeah, that's another thing that people didn't realize. And like Heyman's reaction, there was one point where Cesaro came back and did the European uppercut, and you just see Heyman just go like, "Oh my
Yep.
god!" Or if it was like a holy shit moment, he would like the facial reactions ringside were perfect for Heyman.
Yep.
Um, the ending was perfect to me because it was just like Cesaro kept trying to get up, kept trying to get up, and then he just kept falling, and it just kept going and building until he just couldn't anymore. And of course that after the match reaction was perfect. Um,
They
did you think that? Did you think that Jay coming out, beating Cesaro down, and then Rollins coming out and finishing him off? Did you think was a little bit over the top, or did you
yeah.
think it added a little bit more to the story?
I don't think you needed Jay there. I think you could have got away with Rollins doing it only. I would have loved like you could have just quickly shot backstage, showed Jay coming out with the lay, and Jimmy saying, "No, we're not doing this. You're better than that," or something. Just go, and then McAfee or Cole are like, "Oh my God, Seth Rollins is here," and you cut off from that and show Seth Rollins doing his thing. I think you could have done that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Seth Rollins doing that added to the story. I think Jay's involvement wasn't needed. I think they should have done something to build that storyline with Jimmy, Jay, and Roman. So it's like it's one of those things that we'll see what happens on Friday. But I was more interested in the story being told afterwards with Seth Rollins and Cesaro because they do have a feud going on. Side note to what Roman and Cesaro had. So overall, apart from the zombie lumberjack match, I thought that this pay per view delivered, and
I'd give
it's one.
I'd give it a 7.
It's 7.5. I give it a 7.5, 7.5.
I think it was
I think that it's still room to grow. I think that if they continue to build the storylines like they're doing them with on SmackDown and NXT on Raw, I think the Raw side would deliver a little bit more. Um, all right, let's get into AEW.
Are we going to
We haven't
Jacksonville
really.
for Double or Nothing?
I'm not going to Jacksonville. You can go to Jacksonville. I'm not going to
It's my
Jacksonville.
birthday weekend. I got better things to do.
Okay then.
I was like,
So we
shit, if
go
Elias is offering, we'll go, but
offering what?
take it to Jacksonville.
I'm not going to Jacksonville.
You don't want to see Tim Tebow play tight end?
I don't like Tim Tebow.
All right, let's get back to the show. Let's talk about the one thing in the past 2 weeks that's been all over the internet. Let's start with the Cody promo.
Oh man,
Should I go first?
yeah, go first. I gotta gather my thoughts on this one.
So I messaged in the group when I was watching it. I was like, "This is phenomenal," and then it kept going and going, and I was like, "Oh no, 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 Cody, no!" And yeah, it just kept. Here's the problem: if you would have had 2 or 3 weeks of a go, like it just okay. I'm gonna be Anthony Agogo, okay? Yeah, America. I know I don't have a British accent. America didn't give me any opportunities aside from QT Marshall, who took me under his wing. But I hold that grudge against this country. If you would have done that for 2, 3 weeks, it would have made sense. But I, they turned this into Iron Sheik territory really quick.
Okay, so I agree. I think they took him getting put under the British flag kind of like they did with LAX. You know how LAX, when they used to beat their opponents, they used to put all the Mexican, the Puerto Rican, the Cuban, all
Mm-hmm.
those all Dominican flags on them. I
Mm-hmm.
think that for Cody to try to actually kind of relive his dad's, like, because it kind of reminds you of that Dusty
Hard times
promo that he
promo,
did,
yeah.
hard times, blah blah blah. I think it's a dud. It did nothing to make me excited for Double or Nothing this match.
You're over here quoting Willie Nelson songs. Like, if you would have done the first 5 minutes and the last 3 lines where he started talking about Brandy, you could have got away with it. But you had the 5 minutes you had the couple of minutes in the middle, and that's when you're like, Cody, stop.
It under delivered, and I agree. If he would have did the first couple of minutes plus at the last of it, perfect. It would have made me interested in this match. But there's nothing to this whole feud was the Factory versus the Nightmare Family, and then it all of a sudden just took a turn over one punch that Ogogo gave Cody into all this America versus UK kind of thing.
Dude, the sad thing is, like, before this promo, I think the people were 50-50, like, oh, maybe a go-go's going to upset Cody. But after this promo, everyone's like, fuck, Cody's winning.
I don't know.
You
He
cannot
already
give
has.
that America World Beater promo and lose. Also, like, what was weird is when a lot of podcasts talked about this, they were talking about, like, how Cody does have political aspirations after wrestling. And then all the reports came out about the infighting between the executives, which I think is completely overblown. I'm sure they have disagreements, but I doubt anyone's at anyone's throat. But yeah, I don't want to talk about Cody anymore.
I I'll put it like this.
We need Angel on for. I think Angel would be a good critique for this.
I agree. I think it's we need somebody who is pro AW and to hear their thoughts on this promo, because to me, I thought it didn't do nothing to make me excited for this match. It didn't do nothing for the feud. It just basically said US versus UK, bring it on, but it
Because
has no build.
the week one build was awesome, right? Where Cody's laid out with the flag on top of him. Even after, you know what would work even after this? Cody gives that awesome promo. Cody's getting out of the ring. Right when he's under the rope, another gut punch. And just end it.
Yeah, I would have enjoyed something like that, but they just let him walk away.
But then
And that's
again,
my
like,
problem.
it's the whole he's a UK star, right? So we don't know if he maybe that was the 2 weeks he was at home, right? A go. We because they're doing the same thing with Pac. They're bringing him in and out. So we can't really crap on it because of the times we're in right now on that. But I don't know. What else did you like on AEW? Oh, let's talk about the second thing we're probably gonna get tired of talking about. Let's talk about the reincarnation of the alcohol coming out of a car because Jericho's bubbly and Austin's Budweiser was basically the same thing, right?
Yeah,
But AEW fans think it's different.
I think it took the same approach to it. I thought it was funny, but I didn't. I thought it was just like as much as AEW craps on WWE, why are they taking plays out of their book?
And why would that make you accept a match? If I'd understand, like, you could have done a Tully getting kidnapped by Hager angle, right? Or Angle threatening Angle. Hager is threatening to break Tully's ankle, and he's like, "You gonna give us the match?" And then they're like, "Okay, we'll give you the
I
match."
wouldn't even done that. So they acted like nothing happened to them. So here's the thing: they acted like they weren't the ones that got beat down. So that's my problem with it. They acted like they weren't the ones that got beat down. They acted like they won. Nothing happened to
The
them.
inner circle is the ones that didn't get beat down, right?
Yeah, the inner circle were the ones that beat
Aside
down
from
Pinnacle.
Jericho's elbow
Yeah,
thing, yeah.
yeah. Everybody else walked away a little bit scratched, but the Pinnacle got beat into a pulp. So it's like I'm sitting there like, okay, you act like nobody's injured, nobody's wearing anything. You could at least sold the freaking a patch to the head from the fork getting stuck in your fucking head. You could have
Especially if you're
sold
gonna
like
say the
you
guys
still
in jail. You're gonna say the guys in jail show some injury, right?
yeah show something. And then for here's my book. If I was booking this segment, I would have had the inner circle come out, lay everybody out, put take MJF, put him at the top of the stage, or take him all the way to the top of the freaking Daly's place, threaten to throw him off of Daly's place, and be like, "Are you gonna give us a match? Do something. Do something that's gonna actually make meaning. If you're gonna pull something from WWE, at least make it work." This didn't do any. This basically you bullied somebody by throwing champagne at them, and it just to get a match. It
And
has nothing to do with it.
you know what's even more irritating? Last week we talked about how gnarly that Darby Allin getting thrown down the stairs looked, and I'm like, you have it there, but you drifted away.
So it took away from the moment. It took now is they're going to Stadium Stampede. Yeah, which I get. The inner circles. This was the inner circle match they lost last year or the year before when they did it against the Elite and Matt Hardy. So it's kind of a redemption period for them. So now you clearly are like this is going to be booked at 50-50 or you're going to have the inner circle split up.
I don't think Jericho's doing this match.
I don't know.
I I think Jericho's going to replace himself with someone, and I'm trying to think of. They're still within the 90 days on all the other talent that got released from WWE, and I don't think there was anyone big enough. But Andrade,
Andrade has a match against Kenny Omega.
yeah, but Omega's performing at that pay per view too.
Yeah, but you wouldn't put Andrade in that place because you need Andrade to attack Kenny Omega as a surprise, and you don't need Andrade to if you have that happen, you don't need to surprise Andrade on the match. You need to have him come out unexpectedly, beat the crap out of Kenny Omega, and be like, "I'm here for that AAA Mega World Title."
Dude, okay, because here's the thing: they're saying Jericho's injury is going to be 4 to 6 weeks, which I hate
Yeah,
that 4 to 6 weeks time because I feel like they need that for everything. So 4 to 6 weeks. This pay per view is next weekend.
it's already
So,
been 2 weeks.
but it could have also been filmed, right? You could also have Jericho just do the backstage stuff,
Yeah,
like have Jericho locked in a room or attacked. It seems like they got the 4-on-5 advantage. Once they get to the concourse of the stadium, oh, you're Jericho, and that could have been recorded 2 weeks ago, right?
yeah.
But then I'm gonna prick, and I'm gonna say, oh, we don't book long term. We don't book like that. Then I'm gonna throw that back in their face because you obviously booked it far out, right?
Yeah. So it doesn't make sense. I mean, here's the thing. Anything AEW does right now is nothing wrong to the stands. Nobody's gonna say that AEW does wrong. Like even like think about it. The ending to the death match, to the exploding barbed wires match, people turned it around and said that it was a um
Good angle or
miscue
something.
by miscue. The ending, the way that the ending for the blood and guts match, they defended it. Everybody defended it.
The barbed wire thing.
So
Oh, what are we gonna do? Kill him? I'm like,
so
oh,
and here's what annoyed me. Dave LaGreca went off on Busted Open yesterday, and I'm sitting here like, really, like you're crapping on it when you've had the uh the Shockmaster debut. You're crapping on it when you had a match from that is a something on a pole match. You had a Doomsday Cage match, which and then you didn't crap on the way AEW did the exploding barbed wire match. You didn't crap on how the ending of Blood and Guts was, but yet you crap on this one little thing, and you take away anything you take away from this pay per view. You took that and you said that it was a crappy pay per view.
did Bubba not crap on the finish to the barbed wire match? I thought Bubba
Who?
did. Bubba.
Bubba did. LaGreca didn't.
Mm. Yeah, because LaGreca gets free tickets to their shows.
I know that, but still, like it's it Lance Storm said it best. People already have a preconceived notion that they don't like anything WWE does.
Mm-hmm.
And he called out Brian Alvarez on it, and Brian Alvarez admitted to it. So why are you going to continue to why if you're a reporter, you're supposed to have a non-biased approach to it. Yes, we do it here on the show. We crap on WWE. We crap on AEW. We don't. Yes, we have our biased thoughts at times, but we crap on both shows equally. We talked about how crappy this fucking zombie lumberjack match was. We've crapped on other shit WWE has done, and we try to defend it, but we've lots of the times a lot of stuff they do, especially with Raw, is undefendable. We can't defend it. So it's like it's time for the media to stop being biased towards AEW and just start treating everybody equally. because
Let's talk
you
about
won't,
no.
because
Yeah, go
I
go
mean
ahead.
it won't fix anything if AEW's not going to fix their stuff because everybody knows that AEW is going to get defended, so they can always spin it around and try to make it seem like it wasn't their fault.
I
Anyways,
want
let's move on.
I want to touch on two more things, and then we'll wrap this up because we got a show Thursday too. Um, Two more things I want to touch on. Miro King the title. I loved the match. I loved the interaction between Sting and Darby, where Sting's like, "Dude, you're not gonna win them all. Sometimes you're gonna take the L." And it seemed like Darby was gonna come back, and then I loved how Miro made the game over look, the accolade or the game, whatever the hell they're calling it. But at the end, when he pulled back all the way, thought that looked really cool. Loved how Darby passed out to that. What
I,
about
I
you?
I've
How
been
do you feel about it?
I've been wanting them to push Miro like this. I thought that for the longest, and I've said it here before. I thought that they were wasting Miro by doing what they were doing with him. Now that they let him be Miro, be Rusev, Miro, whatever you call him, and just let him loose, he is showing out. I love that. I want to see what's next for him. I kind of thought that they were going to try to push this Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky um, little feud with Darby a little bit further, but they
Oh,
are
they are.
without the title. So without the title, but I thought it was going to lead to a TNT title match between
I do
them.
have a complaint. It seems like they're gonna go Murder Hawk versus Miro, and I don't want Murder Hawk to lose at a pay per view again.
Yeah, I have my concerns about that. Um, okay,
Who do
so
you think is gonna be the surprise in the Battle Royal this year?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. There's not really many big names. Daga,
I don't think he's big enough. I think Tessa's a bigger name than Daga, but
yeah, but he's attached to Tessa. So, and last I heard, and this is a rumor, of course, that Tessa and Daga were signed with AEW.
I still think Tessa's part of the Diamond Mine.
I think so too, but there's no telling. I know I saw a picture of her training with Dustin today, and then everybody just on Twitter and on Instagram was like, oh, confirmed, Daga and Tessa to AEW.
Is there a big enough name out there? Like, you watch all the AAA stuff, so you would know a little bit more than me. Is there like
They've been quiet for a lot of their stock value has diminished with all the drama that Tessa's been through. It's not.
do
She's
you
still a big
bring Jeff
name.
Cobb back? Do you bring Jeff Cobb back?
Jeff Cobb isn't. Jeff Cobb is strictly with New Japan right now, and he's running with what's his name.
Yeah, but New Japan had a working relationship, right?
Yeah, but they're the storylines that they got going on with Jeff Cobb and his nation stuff with who's the IWP heavyweight champion?
Switchblade.
IWP champion.
Switchblade, right?
No, that's no. He lost the time. They lost.
Oh, he lost it to Saber, right?
Yeah.
No, Saber.
No, hold on. I'll tell you right now. Current holder is
Dude, I think Jack Saber
it,
Jr. would be a pull if they could somehow get him.
it is current Will Osprey. The feud that Will Osprey has with
Sorry,
the little faction that Will Osprey has, it's taking off with them, and they're very involved. So
do you think
I
Coda
would,
could be the? Do you think Coda could be the golden ticket?
it could be because they were kind of teasing him to come back, or they were teasing him to be something against Kenny. So it could be. No telling.
I don't know how you go. Like, that's the thing. Like, and Impact fell into the same trap. You have two or three big surprises known. Like, for Impact, it was like they would always air the vignette beforehand, right? But
Yeah,
now it's with AEW, it's like at all these battle royals, we expect one major comeback. We were let down last year when it was Matt Sydal. Now you got to get that bad taste out of our mouth because Seidel's done nothing since coming back, and he's probably going to
No.
lose to Christian tomorrow. So
Yeah, but then you have Christian come back, and then you put him down to the freaking battle royale. So it's like, what are
but
you
if he
doing with
wins, he
Christian?
gets that title shot, right?
Doesn't mean he's gonna win though.
I don't think he's holding a title there. I think Christian's way too giving. I don't think he's going to hold a title there.
I don't know, but I will say that one thing that has impressed me about AEW is how they're improving with their promos and their segments. The match that I kind of like but kind of didn't like because I really don't really is the that was kind of really good was the Young Bucks versus SCU. And it made SCU look like $1,000,000
Yeah,
even though
but
they
then you do
lost.
the whole cutaway from the hug, and it ruins everything.
Well, then also you mocked the freaking you mocked the Shawn Michaels
I
Ric
don't think
Flair.
I don't think that matters because Nick Jackson or Matt Jackson tweeted that they were going to do that. So you were true to your word. Good job. High five. But you could have shown the Moxley and Kingston stuff when you came back from commercial.
Yeah, they I
And
don't know.
Daniel's eye looks gnarly, by the way. So
Yeah, that was a botch. That was definitely a botch, and that kind of was like, ugh. But I mean, other than that, I think
but
the
no, I thought it was a
oh
good match. I thought it was a good match. Matt will probably crap on it, because he hates the Young Bucks. But
yeah, but I will say Nagata versus John Moxley, best match of the night last week.
very entertaining. I love when you do the respect versus respect angle and it pays off. So I
It paid
really
off
like that.
great, and I enjoyed it. That's my thing. I enjoyed the match from start to finish. That is one thing, and that's one thing that I like about AEW. They're able to bring these people over and make great matches. They brought Kenta. They did a great match. They they brought Nagata, and they did a great match.
Has enough time passed to where you can bring back Marty Scurll in the Battle Royal?
Yes and no.
You think it's a Joey Ryan situation where you're just blacklisted?
No, his situation was different, and you even though it was bad because of the situation, UK UK laws are different than the US. So Joey Ryan was actively doing the stuff he did
Yeah,
with different people.
yeah.
Squirrel was a different situation. No, there's no defending it. Wrong is wrong. But I
Do you
think
think
that
it could be Marty
I don't think so.
Switchblade?
Mm,
I don't think Jay White's a star. First of all, that's me. I don't watch that much New Japan. I watch it maybe 3 times a year. I don't think Switchblade's a star.
I think he's great on the mic. I think he's really great on the mic.
There's a lot of people great on the mic.
Um, I don't know. There's really nobody right now that is not that has not come from that has not been released from WWE in the past 90 days that would make me excited.
I feel like Andrade is showing up on his pay-per-view, by the way.
I feel he is too, but he's gonna show up to beat the crap out of Kenny Omega, or at least try. Because if he shows up, he does have backup. He could. So hear me out. He the Death Triangle still has beef with the Young Bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So technically, he could use Penta and Penta
And
and
Pac is in the match.
Phoenix. Huh?
But Pac is in
Well,
the
that's what I'm.
match.
That's what I'm saying. Like you know how the Young Bucks come out and the Good Brothers come out. The Death Triangle can form a temporary alliance with Andrade to defend everybody off while Andrade beats the crap out of Kenny Omega.
You know how this could work, but I know Tony Khan is not smart enough to do this. You bring Moose, have him win the Battle Royal, say, I don't want to challenge for this stupid title. I want to challenge for the Impact title. Oh, but he already won the number one contenders match.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
for the Impact title. So it could. Yeah. Here's the perfect way to book this. Since Omega is AAA Mega Champion, since he's Impact World Champion and AEW, you have the triple threat. Have Kenny Omega win. Have Moose come take him out, and then when they start beating down Moose, and then Andrade comes out and gets a cheap shot at Kenny Omega, starts beating him down, and then the Death Triangle helps them defend off Young Bucks, the Good Brothers, and blah blah blah.
Is Moose face right now in Impact? No, right?
He's face now. I mean, they did a face turn on him some way. Since Kenny Omega's the heel, I'm guessing that Moose is the face now.
Oh, man, I wish Moose got signed by WWE. I feel like that guy would. Oh,
he'll take off. I would say that.
He's old too, though. That's the
him
thing.
Versus
He's really old.
Him versus Bobby Lashley would be a dream match again.
We've already seen. Yeah, I was like, we've already seen it. No, I think him and Roman could be fire.
That too, but here's the thing. I think, and hear me out, because this could go either way. You could have. Here's the interesting thing. You could have Moose come out. You can have Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston come out, and Andrade come out and defend. That's 3, 4, and then have the Lucha Brothers join in on whatever.
Well, I think Moose and Eddie are taking the titles off the Young Bucks at the pay-per-view.
Who you mean, John and Eddie?
Sorry, yeah, John and Eddie. Yeah,
could be,
because I don't think you can have Moxley lose another match.
AEW booking, you never know.
Yeah, unless he's going home to be a Pop. But, you know.
Well, that could be true, because Renee is kind of getting ready. She's up there.
But you can't give Moxley... You can't take Jericho and Moxley off TV together. There's no way.
No, you need one or the other. Or both. Because
unless Andrade is working full-time for you, yeah, you need one or the other. Yeah.
There's no telling. And here's the thing. I love AEW. I love what they're doing. I love the fact that they're offering something different. That's not the same WWE product that they're doing. That everybody tries to emulate. Because when you look, I love Impact. Impact is doing a great job. Speaking of which, let's talk about Triple Mania a little bit. Andrade versus Kenny Omega. Deonna Purrazzo versus Apache. I think that's going to be the match of the night.
I've watched a couple of Apache matches. Maybe I need to watch a couple more. I'm not sold on her. But that's what I'm saying. I will watch a couple more. So before I give my judgment on her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I don't Bray Wyatt says, "Miss me yet?" #zombies.
Of course he does.
Anyways, yeah, I think Triple Mania is gonna be stacked up as well. But I really do. I'm excited for is it Double or Nothing?
Yeah.
I'm excited for Double or Nothing.
Did they announce the date for Triple Mania?
Triple Mania is in August.
Okay.
So it's in August. So, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I'm interested to see what's next with that. I'm interested to see what AEW does to build up to that. It's still a couple of matches that got to get set in stone. Um, but I want to see. I think the match that's going to be underrated, that's going to probably be the best match of the night, will probably be Britt Baker versus Hikaru Shida.
I agree.
Um, I think that's one of the. I think that's going to be one of the best matches out there. I think they work great together, and I think we'll finally see Britt Baker get the title that she deserved from the get go. In my opinion, I mean, I think she's the best one out of all of them. How she's grown into her heel role, how she's carried the company even through the pandemic, because I think she's mainly the one that's been carrying the women's division through the pandemic and through now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that. Um, I am excited to see the triple threat, Pac versus Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega, um, because of the fact that I want to see how this is going to be booked. Originally, I think it was supposed to be Kenny Omega versus Orange Cassidy, but I'm excited that they added Pac to the mix.
Well,
And
wasn't the
then
report from Melcher that it was always supposed to be a 3-way?
I don't know. I thought it was going to be originally the Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega, because the way they made it seem at Blood and Guts was that Kenny Omega didn't see Orange Cassidy as a threat.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that too. But
So
yeah,
I'm a.
no, it's gonna be a good match regardless. Yeah, like that's the thing.
So if you're not watching, because I'm about to go back and watch NXT, watch NXT.
Okay, bye. I don't want to hear these. Bye. I'm watching NXT now.
Anyways, thank you for joining us. Catch us as always on Weekly Wrestling Heat on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV at Weekly Wrestling Heat TV. Catch us next week, and also our interview with Bam Bam Malone is up and on our official YouTube, and it'll be uploaded there. And watch it on our Twitch restream and watch it on our Facebook restream, which we have up and available. So, as always, we'll see you on Thursday with another episode of Weekly Wrestling Heat, where we'll be back with another one covering this week's action in wrestling. We'll cover Raw, Raw, NXT, and this week's AEW. So, from me and Moist, we are out. Peace.